guys, Shane here. First update slash kind of build report for Adamant StuG Life group build. I've been building Dragon's 1/35 scale StuG IV mid-production. I've got it totally sub-assembled up and ready for priming. So I'm going to talk about how I found this kit. It's my first Dragon kit in a very long time. And how did I find it? Well, this was in all quite an enjoyable kit through certain points, and then I kind of lost my mojo for a little bit, and then picked it up once again when I was coming near the painting process of the build, which is always the stage of any build I enjoy the most. So, it being a smart kit, you're guaranteed to get some pretty good detail. Partial interior that I may or may not have struggled with the radios, Adam. So I did have at first I had quite an ambitious idea how I wanted to display this vehicle. I was going to, and I am still going to do, a Normandy themed vehicle based on my Normandy team build that I'm kind of doing on and off just for my own enjoyment. So I was going to fully paint up, I need a pointy yoke. I was going to fully paint up the interior, which I did, weather it, which I did, and then leave this top plate loose. I could remove it, and you could see little bits and pieces inside the fighting compartment. It's a partial interior. There's a lot missing, including the ammunition racks and the driver's compartment. But still, you get a nice gun breech assembly, and the radios that may or may not have caused me a bit of issue trying to get them racks to work, them bastards. Anyway, so I actually ran into some trouble once I started working up into superstructure of this vehicle. However, I think it was partly down to how I may have built it, and partly down to how this vehicle is designed as a kit. So, mounting the gun, and I think Adam more or less mentioned that's a bit tricky. I actually found it a bit tricky trying to mount the gun, because it has to kind of, the casement has to come in and slide under the gun, and then you glue it down. It's a bit of a pain in the arse to do. It took me a few goes, and it got a bit messy in the inside. I also had to leave the gun recoil bracket out because it was just being a pain in the arse and making life too tricky. So as you can see, I battened the hatches down. I'm still going to display this in a small kind of vignette diorama way, but more on that at the end of this video. Second bit of issue I had, and I know it wasn't just me, because I know that Ian from that 1/35 scale show had a similar issue that he was talking about on one of the hangouts when we were working on our StuGs. He's building a StuG for early production, again from Dragon. I believe it's more or less the same kit with just some smaller details, because bear in mind it's the same chassis, and just as time went on the Germans simplified or modified the various productions of the StuG IV, with the StuG IV last production being even more simplified as materials began to run out. But this plate here, which is the plate where the driver's compartment and this panel here is all one piece, sits down top of the vehicle. It sits, and you can kind of see that the rise here. It sits about maybe a mil, maybe 1.2 mil too high, and it did kind of upset the entire build. Everything was going really well until that. Even the interior wasn't really that big of an issue, because you don't really intend to show the interior. Then the issues I had with it are totally negated. But what I actually had to do was, I think Ian just resorted to doing a bit of filing and sand and filling, and I more or less did the same. But what I did too is that I have a micro chisel from Trumpeter, one of the cheaper ones. Not a bad bit of kit, does the job quite well. I chiseled down the fenders on both sides, just where this panel sits, to help facilitate it to sit down more closer to the transmission cover here. It's still not perfect, but it will do for me. It looks good, even though like this is meant to be much more flush, but it's just the best I can do. Other than that, some other little extras I added. I just added using, so you guys can see, using Vallejo putty and a cut down old brush. I stippled on the putty to make a bit of a cast texture, There is a cast texture moulded onto it, but it's very slight. I think this might be a bit overscaled. I really don't care. I like having pronounced cast textures. I want your eye to immediately see that I put that detail in. Also, added some texturing to the exhaust muffler. When I come to rust this, it also looks more realistic when there's a bit of a texture for rust. It just adds a bit more interest and also adds a bit more realism. Also of note, if anyone's intending to build any of the StuG series, and especially the StuG IV series, for the Shorzen plates, or Strutzen plates, should I say, I don't know how well you can see these, but there you go. If you note these brackets mounted onto the fenders here, this is actually the retaining lugs, if you will, for the Shorzen plates to sit on these railings, which were a bitch, by the way, to put on. Be mindful of these. I've almost snapped these off on numerous occasions. I keep having to come back and just put a bit of extra tin in just to reinforce them constantly. So just be mindful of these. Quite easy to snap. And since I'm on the topic, the panels or the mounting brackets for the Shorzen rails were absolute bitches to put down. There's no real indentations where they go, so take your time there. I actually had to use a bit of super glue here and there just to get a quick joint because it just kept slipping. Bit of a pain in the arse. And then the final thing I've done is using the same method that Adam used for his individual tracks, these magic track. So what I do is I've wood glued or PVA glued all the running gear into position, so I can shimmy these off for painting. And all I've done is I've glued. I do it slightly different. I think he leaves his tracks all loose. I actually glue my tracks to the idler and dry sprocket, and then pop them out and paint everything in situ. But the return rollers and actual roll wheels can come off to be painted separately. That's how I do it. I was going to do a tutorial on how I do it, but to be honest with you, you don't really need to do a tutorial. Just do long lengths and glue it all together, being careful not to glue or have any glue that can come into contact with the roll wheels for idlers, or return rollers should I say. And then I just put a couple of drops of, I use Refill Contacta. It's one of the few times I use this glue. I really don't like it. Hamel cards really go with this stuff, but I find it very messy, and I was using it for years. But it's a slow setting time, so you can do the full 99 track, which I think is actually a little too less for this run. Wrap it around, put a few drops of glue on your return rollers, glue it all together, and then leave that to dry, and then you can just literally shimmy that off gently by putting equal pressure on both sides, and it should come off. What I'll probably do is, once it's off, I'll do a quick run of extra tin over all the tracks to reinforce them, and that'll be me ready to go. So next update for this, you're going to see it being primed and painted. I mean, I'm not going to put a little bit of tarps and stowage onto this. It depends what room I'm in. I'll probably put a few little tarps, and maybe a tin foil mantlet shroud or blast bag, just into this area here. A lot of the vehicles had them because that was exposed to the elements. So that's really my update. Really good kit and all. It was challenging at times. I'm not going to bother putting the antennas in. I think I'm just going to leave the nubs in. I think they're actually the mounting brackets for the antennas. I might be wrong there, because I think Adam was asking, are those nubs meant to be there? I think actually that's where the 2 meter or 4 meter antennas would clip into the things. I might not. I think they are. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, that's enough rambling from me. So I really hope you like this update. I've really been enjoying this model, and also I've been really enjoying watching everybody else's work. So everyone, keep up the great work. I'm steadily watching the StuG battery take shape. So thanks for watching. Happy modelling, and watch out for those buses as always. Thanks. Keep well, and see you next time.